Have you ever mingled with a flamingo? Well, that's what we're doing today. Hey everyone, we're here with Haley, the PR manager from Lion Country Safari. We're about to do the Flamingo Mingle, so what do we need to know about it?
So the Flamingo Mingle is a really cool opportunity for us to actually go in with the flamingos, and they are gonna mingle around us. And so we're actually gonna get to feed them bowls full of krill. Do you know what krill is?
Like, assuming it's like fish?
It's actually a little tiny shrimp, and it's a part of their food and also a really delicious snack for them. So we're gonna head in and we're gonna go see who would like to mingle with us.
All right, so I'm gonna bring you guys the food. So this is krill. These guys get their pink color from the things that they eat, things like this krill. So this is itty bitty tiny shrimp, and it's one of their favorite treats. And it's actually how we keep this experience voluntary and positive for our flamingos. They are allowed to choose whether or not they want to come in and participate. So we give them an extra special treat to make it really, really positive so that they definitely want to come in. And as you guys can see, they love their krill. Normally in the wild, these guys would eat a variety of different crustaceans, even things like algae, stuff that they would find in the water that they would filter feed, kind of like how you guys see that they are doing here. If you guys look really, really close, you might be able to see something called lamellae, and it kind of looks like the teeth of a comb in their mouth. They do have it on their beaks and on their tongues, and those allow them to filter feed. So kind of like a baleen on a whale, where they bring the water in and then they push it out really quickly, and it holds all the food in their mouth and allows them to filter the teeny tiny food out and not swallow as much water.
How often do they eat a day, and like how much do they eat?
So here at Lion Country Safari, these guys actually get a special pelleted flamingo food that has all the vitamins, nutrients, and everything that they need in it, including the carotenoid pigments that allow them to have their beautiful pink color. We do typically feed them 3 times a day, but they do have access to that food all day long. We just freshen it up and give them fresh. So they get it first thing in the morning, they get it around lunchtime, and then they get some more at the end of the day.
So breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Just like you guys. But the way that we tell these guys apart is actually by the colored bands you guys see on their legs. So every single bird has a different color band or combination, or they're on a different leg, and that's how we quickly and easily identify who's who. They do also have their own personalities. They all kind of act very, very differently. The more you work with them, the easier it is to kind of tell who's who. And what may look like a backwards knee that those bands are sitting above is actually these guys' ankle. So they're actually walking around on their tippy toes all the time, and that joint that you see in the middle is their ankle, and technically their knees are all the way up closer to their body where you can't really see it. They're always walking on their tiptoes. They have great posture. And you can even see down, they do have webbed feet that are great for moving around in the water. They actually do have little tiny toenails on the tips of each of their toes on their feet.
Why do they sleep with like their feet up?
So it can kind of depend. These guys being on their tippy toes all the time, sometimes they want to rest one leg or the other, so they can kind of alternate. These guys have something that is called a stay reflex. So it basically allows them to lock the leg that is standing, and they can sleep standing up. So that knee can be locked, or that ankle I should say, can be locked in place and not move, and they can rest their other leg while they sleep. It also can potentially help with something called countercurrent heat exchange. So these guys have blood vessels in their legs that run in opposite directions that help keep their legs warm if it's cold and cool when it's warm, because the blood will flow all the way out and the temperature will actually transition from the cold vessels to the hot vessels and vice versa.
They get their pink color from the pink foods they eat, but what if they eat like a different color food?
These guys are specifically able to process those carotenoid pigments that provide the pink color. And if it was a different kind of color pigment, they wouldn't be able to process it. So these guys can only process that one very specific protein that gives them this color. And it's kind of similar to if you think where other animals that eat those pigments aren't necessarily going to turn pink. They're very specifically designed to process it and give them their beautiful color.
Wait, what if they like ate something else?
So if they ate stuff that didn't have that color in it, then they wouldn't have these beautiful bright colors. They would actually be pretty pale. And something that's kind of interesting to note, these guys do change color depending on the time of year. During breeding season, they tend to get a lot more vibrant, and they're a lot darker and more kind of intense coloration. And that usually has to do with the diet and kind of when they decide to breed. They have a lot higher nutrient quality in their food. And it also helps them with attracting mates and things like that. Baby flamingos are actually born white with very short, straight beaks. And as they mature, they'll get a little bit grayer, and then they'll eventually get their pink color after a few years. There are also 5 different species of flamingos. So these guys are the darkest, most vibrant. And some of the other species are a little bit lighter and look a little bit different than these guys. So the other kind of pretty common one that's a lot paler pink is the Chilean flamingos. These guys are American or Caribbean flamingos.
Why is some of their feathers like dark black?
So those black feathers are actually their primary flight feathers. So those are the feathers that allow them to fly normally.
Oh. Are the flamingos able to fly over the fences or?
So we do something called pinioning, which is basically where we surgically clip the tip of one of their wings. If you see this bird whose wings are out, you can see the little tip is a little shorter there, and so that prevents them from flying, and that is for their safety. So if these guys were to get out, they would not really know where to get food or what to do. There's a lot of predators that could get them, so we make sure that they stay here and they stay happy and safe.
What's their natural habitat? If they weren't here, where would they be living?
So these guys are usually found in the islands in the Caribbean, as well as kind of down a little bit into Central America. Some of the other species of flamingo live more in South America, and then there's also a couple of species that live in Africa as well. And as you guys can kind of see, like I said, this is a voluntary experience, so if the birds want to leave, they're allowed to leave, and if the other ones want to come in and participate, they can participate. This is one of our experiences, but we do also have our lorikeet aviary where you can feed our lorikeets nectar. We also have a petting zoo where you can feed our goats, and we have giraffe feeding, which is really, really exciting. You can go up and feed and get really up and close and personal with our giraffe. So I want to let you guys know that here at Lion Country Safari, we do participate in a lot of different conservation opportunities. By doing this experience today, part of the proceeds from each one of you guys is actually going to help birds in the wild. Specifically, we donate to the Laney Rickman Foundation, which helps conserve blue-throated macaws in the wild. Blue-throated macaws are critically endangered, and that program actually helps build artificial nest boxes as well as acquire habitat to help make sure that those birds are able to succeed and be around for a long time to come.
If people want to learn more about the Flamingo Mingle and if they want to sign up for it, where can they go?
So you can go to our website online at lioncountrySafari.com. You can find out everything you need to know about booking your own so you guys can come feed and see these beautiful birds up close.
Well guys, that's going to do it for today's adventure. Thanks so much to the Lion Country Safari staff for inviting us out.
If you're coming to visit South Florida and want to check this out for yourself, make sure you visit lioncountrySafari.com. It's open daily, 365 days a year. On the scene from Lion Country Safari for Attractions Magazine, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope you had a great time. Bye!